the myth of the special soul and why it's keeping you powerless. Have you ever secretly wondered if you were the chosen one? It's okay, many of us have. That deep inner feeling that you were born for something more, something extraordinary. It's real. But here's the trap. Everything you've been told about it is wrong. You are programmed to believe that being chosen means being picked by something outside of yourself, by fate, by the universe, by some cosmic lottery. That being chosen is a title, a badge, a destiny that arrives like a lightning strike. But what if I told you that this belief, this fantasy, is the very thing keeping you from your awakening? Because you are not chosen, and yet you must choose yourself. This is the paradox. And until you break free from the myth, you'll keep waiting for a sign that was never meant to come. The idea of the chosen one is seductive. It tells us that if we're special enough, the universe will lift us above the crowd, that our pain will finally make sense, that we'll be recognized, applauded, saved. But that's not a spiritual truth. That's a psychological wound. It comes from lifetimes of feeling unseen, unloved, unworthy. So we create a fantasy: one day they'll see me. One day I'll rise. One day I'll be chosen. But here's the brutal truth. No one is coming. No prophecy. No divine hand. No scroll with your name on it. The chosen one is not real, but the choosing one is. You are that one, not by fate, but by decision. What if your power isn't in being chosen, but in choosing? Choosing to step forward, choosing to awaken, choosing to burn. We need to dismantle this myth at the deepest level because it's spiritual poison covered in glitter. It teaches passivity. It tells you to wait for signs instead of becoming the sign. It makes you dependent on external validation instead of cultivating internal mastery. You wait for a spiritual guide to appear instead of becoming your own guide. You wait for a moment of destiny instead of forging destiny with your bare hands and burning heart. The real spiritual path is not about being picked. It's about picking yourself again and again, even when no one claps, even when the sky is silent. The truth is, everyone is chosen and no one is. The universe doesn't hand out golden tickets. It places fire in everyone's chest and waits to see who will ignite it. There's a reason you resonate with the chosen one narrative, and it's not just ego. It's a memory. A soul memory, because on some level, you are different. You feel more. You see through things. You've always sensed that something is off in this world. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to remember. But being different doesn't make you chosen. It makes you responsible. You were born with gifts, intuition, depth, vision, chaos, and those gifts are not rewards. They're burdens until you claim them. The chosen one doesn't sit on a throne. They clean the mud off their own soul every day. They walk into fire while others run. They don't wait for meaning. They make meaning through devotion and discipline. So ask yourself, are you waiting for your calling, or are you ready to become your own call? Think about the stories we've been sold. The orphan who becomes a king, the misfit who discovers a hidden power, the humble nobody who saves the world. These stories echo across cultures because they reflect an inner truth. Transformation is possible, but they also hide a lie, that transformation is bestowed, not earned. In real life, you don't wake up with a prophecy. You wake up with pain, with doubt, with silence. And that's the real initiation. The moment you stop waiting to be chosen and you start choosing yourself, everything changes. The universe responds not to your specialness, but to your sincerity. Not to your destiny, but to your decision. Power doesn't find you. It reveals itself when you start walking without it. Here's the deeper layer most people miss. The archetype of the chosen one isn't about being special. It's about being willing. Willing to lose everything that isn't true. Willing to be hated for your authenticity. Willing to walk alone. Willing to disappoint everyone who wanted you to stay small. That's what it costs. And most people aren't willing to pay that price. So they hide behind the myth. They say, "I'm not ready yet." But readiness is not real. Only willingness is. Are you willing to lose your old self? Are you willing to suffer for your soul? Are you willing to become someone your past self wouldn't recognize? If yes, then you're not waiting to be chosen. You're becoming the one who chooses. I want you to look at your life right now. Really look. Where are you waiting to be picked? By love? By success? By God? Where are you hoping someone will see you and finally give you permission? That's where your power is being held hostage, and you're the only one who can free it. The chosen one is a lie we tell ourselves so we don't have to face the terror of our own freedom. Because if no one's choosing you, then it means you have to choose. And choice is power, but it's also responsibility. It means no more excuses, no more fantasies, no more waiting. It means building your temple brick by brick, breath by breath, with no applause, no prophecy, no guarantee. Just you and the fire that won't go out. So I ask you now, at the edge of everything you think you know, are you ready to stop waiting? Are you ready to become the one? Because if you are, everything you thought was impossible begins to shift. Not because you're chosen, but because you've chosen. In part 2, we'll go even deeper, not just into why the myth is wrong, but how to break it, how to reclaim the truth beneath it, and how to embody a spiritual path that doesn't depend on being special, but on being awake. The power of the unchosen, how to awaken without a prophecy. You're not going to like this, but I have to say it. Being unchosen is the greatest spiritual blessing you will ever receive. It forces you to stop leaning on the illusion that someone else's recognition will unlock your purpose. It shatters the fantasy that destiny is something handed to you. And in the wreckage, you find something far greater than being chosen. You find agency. You find the raw, terrifying, exhilarating truth that you are the only one who can choose yourself. And when you do, you become unstoppable. Not because the universe favors you, but because you've aligned yourself with its deepest current. There is no prophecy more powerful than a soul that finally decides to stop waiting. When you stop chasing the idea of being special, something beautiful happens. You start becoming real. You stop performing for the world and start listening to the quiet voice inside you that's been whispering all along. That voice doesn't say, "You were born to be a hero." It says you were born to become whole. And wholeness is far more powerful than heroism. The world doesn't need more heroes. It needs more whole beings. People who have faced their darkness, embraced their contradictions, and chosen to live aligned with truth even when it costs them everything. That is the true path. And it's not glorious. It's not cinematic. It's often lonely, quiet, and invisible, but it is real. And in a world addicted to illusion, realness is the rarest power of all. We must destroy this myth of the chosen one, not because it's false, but because it's incomplete. The archetype was never meant to be taken literally. It was a metaphor, a story to inspire us to awaken. But we turned it into a hierarchy. We turned it into spiritual elitism. We began to believe that some are born worthy and others aren't. That some have divine missions and others are just background characters. That's spiritual ego, not spiritual truth. The real mystery is this: everyone has a purpose, but not everyone will choose it. The difference between the awakened and the asleep is not fate, it's choice. So the question is not, are you the chosen one? The question is, will you choose to wake up? You might be wondering, if I'm not chosen, then how do I find my path? And the answer is as ancient as it is simple. You create it. You do not find your path in the stars, in a book, or in someone else's blessing. You find it by taking one honest step after another. Even when you don't know where it leads, you build it by doing the next right thing. You shape it with your courage, your failures, your wounds, your devotion. The path is not revealed to the worthy. It is revealed to the walker. So walk. Walk trembling if you must. Walk in confusion, in doubt, in silence. But walk. Because every step you take without certainty is a declaration to the universe. I am no longer waiting to be chosen. I am choosing to become. Let's go deeper. The reason we cling to the chosen one myth is because we're terrified of our own insignificance. We want to believe there's something inherently important about us, that we were born for greatness, but that's just ego in a costume. The truth is, you are not inherently important. You are inherently sacred. There's a difference. Importance is measured by external standards, fame, impact, recognition. Sacredness is measured by presence, by alignment, by authenticity. You don't have to be important to live a meaningful life. You just have to be real, fully here, fully you, fully alive. The tree outside your window is not trying to be chosen. It simply is. And that is enough. What would your life look like if you stopped trying to be someone and just became yourself? Here's something no one tells you. The people who seem the most chosen are often the ones who had to choose themselves the hardest. They were rejected, overlooked, broken. They didn't wake up with clarity. They woke up with chaos and kept walking anyway. They weren't picked by destiny. They picked up their destiny from the dirt, cleaned it with their tears, and carried it alone until it became light. So if you feel lost, ignored, unseen, you are in the perfect place to begin. In fact, you're ahead of the ones still waiting for a sign. Because your pain has already cracked you open. Now you just have to step through. Let me ask you a question that may change your life forever. What would you do if you stopped needing to be special? Really ask yourself. If there was no one to impress, no audience to perform for, no prophecy to fulfill, what would you do with your time, your gifts, your soul? That answer is your truth. That answer is your power. That answer is your path. But you'll never hear it while you're still obsessed with being chosen. You'll only hear it when you become quiet enough to listen to the heartbeat beneath the noise. The path of the unchosen is not glamorous, but it is free. And in that freedom, you will find a power that can't be taken, can't be given, only lived. Now I want to give you something extremely practical. If you're ready to stop waiting, here's what you do. Every morning before the world grabs you, sit in silence and ask, what does my soul choose today? Not your ego, not your fear, your Zool. Then listen. Maybe it tells you to write, to rest, to confront someone, to create something. Then do it, no matter how small. This is how you build spiritual muscle, not through being chosen, but through daily devotion, choosing to listen, choosing to act, choosing to align. And over time, your life becomes the path. You don't find it, you become it. And that's the secret no one tells you. That's the secret that was hidden in every story. Not that some are chosen, but that all are called, and few choose to answer. This is the end of fantasy and the beginning of fire. The end of waiting and the beginning of walking. You don't need permission. You don't need a sign. You don't need to be picked. You're not the chosen one. And that is the most liberating truth you will ever realize. Because now you're free. Free to choose. Free to awaken. Free to become. And in part 3, we will go all the way into how to live as the unchosen one in a world still obsessed with titles, fame, and false prophets. You will learn how to embody sacred power without needing a throne, how to serve a divine mission without being recognized, and how to walk as a spiritual warrior with no prophecy, no spotlight, and no applause, just truth, action, and the fire of your own awakening. The silent path of power, how to walk as the unseen one and still change the world. If you've made it this far, you're already different. Not because you're chosen, but because you've chosen to stay, to listen, to question. And that's the rarest kind of courage in this world, the courage to continue without a guarantee. Now we enter the final, most sacred territory. How to walk as the unchosen one and still change the world. Because it's not enough to awaken in silence. It's not enough to break the myth internally. You have to bring your awakening into your actions, your relationships, your work, your presence. The silent path of power is not about hiding. It's about embodying something so real, so rooted, so raw that the world can't help but feel it, even if they don't understand it, even if they never say a word. The unchosen one doesn't need a throne to lead, because leadership has nothing to do with position and everything to do with frequency. Your frequency is what speaks before you say a word. It's in how you enter a room, how you hold silence, how you respond when tested, how you treat people who can offer you nothing. When you walk this path, your power becomes subtle but seismic. You don't need to prove yourself. You are yourself. And that's what shifts people. That's what heals people. Not your words, not your titles, not your followers, but your presence. The unchosen one becomes the quiet revolution, not by shouting, but by being. And in a world addicted to noise, that stillness is thunder. But here's the part that most people never learn. Walking this silent path means you must let go of being seen. Truly seen. Not just online, not just applauded, but understood. You may spend years pouring your soul into your work, your art, your healing, and receive nothing but silence in return. And that's not failure. That's initiation. The universe hides your light for a reason, to strengthen it, to refine it, to make sure you're not doing this for applause, but for truth. That kind of inner fire, the one that keeps going even when no one's watching, that's the fire that changes timelines. That's the fire the ego cannot imitate, and you will only find it when you stop needing to be seen. So ask yourself, if no one ever recognized your greatness, would you still live it? We've been trained to think that making an impact means going viral, that changing lives means being famous. But the most powerful spiritual work often happens in complete invisibility. It happens in the moment you choose love over reaction. It happens in the moment you forgive instead of punish. It happens when you hold space for someone's pain without trying to fix them. It happens when you build something beautiful even though no one's clapping. These are the moments that shift the collective. Not the big, loud gestures, but the consistent, quiet ones. The unchosen one doesn't need the world's approval to offer their gift. They give it because it's who they are, because withholding it would be spiritual self-abandonment. Let's get brutally practical. To walk this path, you need to cultivate spiritual discipline. Not the kind that looks good on Instagram, but the kind that no one sees. The kind that shows up every morning when it's easier to scroll. The kind that chooses integrity when shortcuts are tempting. The kind that keeps your energy clean, your heart open, your mind sharp. You become a vessel not for performance but for presence. This means you will spend less time trying to be impressive and more time trying to be real. It means you will lose people. You will confuse people. You will outgrow versions of yourself that once felt like home. But in return, you will gain something no mythology can offer. Real power. The kind that doesn't fade. The kind that can't be taken. Now let's talk legacy. The chosen one myth tells us we must leave a mark, be remembered, change the world in dramatic ways. But what if your legacy isn't what you leave behind, but what you awaken within others while you're still here? What if your legacy is not measured in monuments, but in moments? The moment someone felt safe because of your presence. The moment someone saw a new possibility through your courage. The moment you said something that shifted a life, even if you never knew it. This is the legacy of the unchosen. Not fame, but frequency. Not recognition, but resonance. You don't need to be remembered to have mattered. You just need to live so fully that your existence becomes a quiet blessing to the world. There will be days when you want to give up, when the silence feels unbearable, when the world seems louder, shinier, more successful without you. That's when the old myth will try to creep back in. It will whisper, "See, you're not chosen." And in that moment, you must remember, you chose this. Not because it's easy, not because it's popular, but because it's true. The unchosen one walks not for approval, but for alignment. Not for comfort, but for wholeness. And every step you take on this path, even in darkness, is sacred. Every step is a rebellion against everything false. Every step is a seed, and one day, without warning, those seeds will bloom, not for the world to see, but for your soul to know you lived awake. So here we are, the end of the story, the end of the myth, and the birth of something far more real. You are not the chosen one. You are the chooser, the walker, the rememberer. You are the one who chose to awaken without a prophecy, to serve without a spotlight, to build without applause. And that makes you more powerful than any chosen one ever could be, because your power wasn't given. It was forged. And now you carry it not as a crown, but as a presence. Quiet, undeniable, eternal. And maybe, just maybe, that's what the myth was always pointing to. Not a hero in the sky, but a truth in your chest. A fire in your belly, a choice in your hands. And now the question is no longer, am I the chosen one? The question is, what will I do with the life I've chosen? And now here you are, with the truth laid bare, the myth dismantled, and the silence echoing louder than ever before. This is the moment that most people turn back. This is where the illusions become seductive again. They tell you it would be easier to shrink, to blend in, to wait for someone else to lead. But deep down, you know too much now. You've seen behind the curtain. You've touched the fire. You've stared into the mirror and recognized that no one is coming to choose you because you are the one who must choose. Again and again, without applause, without assurance, without reward. And that is the most terrifying and holy place a soul can arrive at. the point where dependence dies and true power is born. You see, the real danger of the chosen one myth isn't just that it keeps you waiting. It's that it keeps you small. It makes you believe that only certain people have what it takes to change the world. That greatness is a rare inheritance instead of a daily decision. But the unchosen ones, those who rise in silence, who awaken without permission, are the real builders of the new world. Their movements are not broadcasted, but they ripple through generations. Their names may not be remembered, but their frequency lives on in the shifts they created, the souls they touched, the systems they quietly dismantled. They don't need a spotlight because they've become the light itself. So what does it look like to live this way every day? It's ordinary, and yet it's sacred. It means you wake up and choose to listen to your intuition, even when logic tells you otherwise. It means you show up fully to your relationships, not with perfection, but with presence. It means you create when no one's watching. You forgive when no one apologizes. You keep your energy clean, not for status, but because your soul is your temple. It means you stop chasing impact and start embodying integrity. And over time, your life becomes a transmission, not of ideology, but of alignment. Not of striving, but of stillness. You become a walking reminder that divinity is not in being chosen, it's in choosing to live awake. This path isn't glamorous, and maybe that's the point. Maybe the most powerful spiritual revolution is the one that happens off stage. Maybe the real chosen ones were never chosen by the world. They were chosen by the truth, and they said yes. Not to glory, but to growth. Not to fame, but to fire. And the more they walked, the more they realized the path isn't about becoming someone else. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. It's about unlearning everything that made you wait and reclaiming the wisdom that teaches you to move now. What would happen if you stopped waiting for life to begin and started living like you were already exactly where you were meant to be? So I'll leave you with this. The world doesn't need more chosen ones. It needs more choosing ones. Souls who choose truth over comfort, presence over performance, devotion over distraction. You may never be recognized. You may never be celebrated. But if you walk this path with your whole heart, you will become unforgettable, not to the world, but to yourself. And that, my friend, is the only kind of legacy that matters. So go. Walk. Choose. Not because you were picked, but because you remembered. You were never meant to be chosen. You were meant to awaken.